Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be another Canadian Sailor Reacts. We've got Chief Art with us again. Welcome back, Chief.
Welcome, thank you. Nice to be here.
Thank you. Today we're going to be looking at the Royal Navy Sailor School and whatever the toughest physical challenge in training is. So, let's get into it.
It's Friday.
The stretcher run. We did stretcher runs.
Oh, yes. Oh, one thing, and I know you're aware of this. Did you do your basic training in Cornwallis? I assume you did.
I did, yep.
Yeah. So, as you know, the Canadian Armed Forces, I'll go with calling it the back end, the administrative end, much of the common training end is all the same for
Yep.
all three elements: Army, Air, Navy, Air Force.
Yes.
Basic training is the same way for us. It's all the same. And then once you're completed basic training, you go off then into your element or further training. I know you went off, no doubt, to combat school.
Yep.
I ended up on the West Coast at TQ3 for my course because I didn't need to know how to climb under barbed wire or any of that good stuff.
Yep.
It looks like, and this is again going with the certain quick impression here. At least the kit that these sailors have been issued, it certainly looks like pretty much Army stuff. And I will say that my instructors for basic training, actually, they were RCR.
You're kidding. That's funny
I
because
think they were all RCR. Yeah,
none of my instructors in basic training were RCR.
there you go. Exactly.
My platoon officer was RCR. In fact, he was right out of officer training. They sent him down there, and he took us through our 10 weeks, and then he took us to Petawawa, and he was our platoon officer for all of our TQ3 also.
Right. Now I know for the Canadian Forces, or at least we'll go here. I know for the Royal Canadian Navy. You still with us, Rob?
Yep. You're back. You
Okay.
just stuttered for a second.
Oh, one of us stuttered there for a sec. Yeah, I know during the COVID crisis that the Royal Canadian Navy took over its own basic training at its one base here on the East Coast and the other one on the West Coast.
Oh,
That way there was less people flying around the country. So yeah, basic training and I'm not sure if it stayed that way. I assume not. But during those couple of years, basic training was conducted on the naval base here in Halifax and on the naval base on the West Coast in Esquimalt. I'm gonna as a guess, I'm gonna say probably the Navy, or excuse me, the Army and Air Force likely did similar things.
yeah. I'll have to ask. Still got some friends that are in. I'll have to ask.
You have okay.
Yeah. Yes, Art. I have some friends.
That story. I could
That thing with nerves, I felt
This is another thing that's caught me out a couple of times. 17 years old.
Yes. Yeah. That is. I know in Canada, again, or the Navy, you can get in at 17 if your parents will sign off on it.
Yep.
It is hugely uncommon. I don't think I've ever met anybody. Oh, I lie. I met one guy who was from Newfoundland, and he was going down a bad path. He wasn't in trouble with the law, but he was going there, from what I gather. And his parents said, "Join the Navy, or we're gonna kick you on the street." So
Yeah.
he did, and he was hugely successful.
So that's one critical difference between Canada and several other countries.
I felt
Right.
sick. My throat was just like closing up. I was that scared.
So I got a
I had a
question.
lot of people.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
What I was just going to say was that a lot of people from the outside looking in don't understand that basic training is not about you. It's about you learning to be part of a team.
That's fair.
While there's lots of yelling and all the stuff that we've seen in movies like Full Metal Jacket and stuff, but the idea is eventually is that you can adjust to working with a group to accomplish some kind of task. In this case, it's going to be getting a casualty evac probably off a ship, and I'll be curious to see what they've got for training facilities because I know the Canadian facilities that do what they sound like they're going to do are first rate.
Cool. All right. Well, let's keep watching then.
Ooh,
Did you see that?
That hurts.
What? Okay.
With the jump, I get that, but you know,
Wow. All right.
yeah, that was she was caught napping on that one.
Yeah. What's that?
Stokes litter.
Stokes litter.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
At least that's what that is. Stokes is just the guy who developed it. It is an encased, because you're dragging somebody up and down ladders on a ship. It's kind of this shaped, and it's long, obviously, but it's U-shaped, so you can put the casualty into it and then strap them in without having. It's not a stretcher like we've seen, like you're probably used to,
Yeah.
or seen say in the movies. It is not a stretcher in that way. It is a litter, and you can literally tie ropes at both ends and lower it down the ladder or over the side of a ship if you wanted to lower it horizontally. All kinds of stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Carrying a litter like that is a lot harder than it looks
Yeah.
with a group. Yeah.
Yep.
'Cause you don't want to be bouncing the guy in it all over the place.
I'm struck by the fact that they're all carrying water bottles in their hands. That's weird to me.
That seems off for me too. I'm not sure. I know we didn't back when I did basic training, which was probably even before you did, which is way back. But that wasn't the way we got our water.
I was 87, February 87.
Oh, there we go. I did mine in '86, summer of '86. So
There you go. Yeah, so if we were going to run with water bottles, we would carry them on our web belts. We'd carry our web belts and put them in our pouch, our canteen pouch.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Please
There
don't
was a
close
truck
that.
following along with other stuff if you needed it.
Yeah.
On me, you two. Go on, catch up. On me. You can do it. This is where
Oh, that's a dummy on the thing.
Yes.
So I remember in our basic training, by the time we were done the 10 weeks, we were reasonably physically fit.
I will say, in the best physical condition probably of my life. I actually gained 20 pounds while I was there, because I got in, I was this big around.
Oh, yeah.
I put on 20 pounds of muscle mass the whole time.
Wow.
And like the running and stuff like that, yeah, for sure.
Now, for me, the physical aspect got a lot harder in TQ3,
Yes.
right? Because
Yes.
infantry.
Absolutely.
But even in basic, man, they were pushing us.
Ooh. Well, again, we had RCR instructors, so I assume we had to meet RCR basic standards.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'd be interested to know who it was. I wonder if I knew them.
Yeah, really.
And this goes back to what they were saying at the beginning was this is more about commitment, right?
Yes,
It-
absolutely.
it's an important lesson to learn, right? Who's going to give up?
Yeah, sure. And what we're watching here, people forget there's a minimum standard.
Yep.
We don't know what that minimum standard is here. There's no doubt the instructors are driving them to meet well above that minimum standard. The young lady who's fading, she may still be meeting or exceeding the minimum standard. And like you said, it's certainly showing the determination to keep going.
Yeah. And look at the war faces.
Yes.
What though? That I've had that voice in my head so many times. You know, the two sides saying, you know, I've got to do it, and the other's like, you can't do it, you can't do it, you can't do it. Like I'm constantly struggling with myself, thinking that I can't do it.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And the thing I find interesting watching this event and watching the instructor fall back and give her the encouragement. I don't know. I remember distinctly there was guys when we did our 10K final passing out in Cornwallis basic training.
Yep.
There's always a couple of guys that are struggle, but we fell back. A group of us fell back to bring them up to the rest of us. It
Oh,
wasn't the instructor. The instructor don't give a shit. Sorry, the instructor
Oh, that's
doesn't
fine.
care. His idea is to set the pace. You have to be here at this time.
yep.
And you know the group decides that we're all going to make it.
Right. Yeah. Actually, and we had a similar thing happen to us in battle school when we were running hills. A very similar scenario. Yeah. There's actually a trick to what they're doing. You notice she's holding her with her hands underneath her arms, but if you get your hands down around them and
Yep,
you
all the way
interlace
around.
your fingers,
Yeah.
it's so much easier to do.
Absolutely. I don't know if you're aware of this one, Rob, but the remember we used to do the physical test every year.
Yep.
I don't remember. I don't even remember what it was called. PT test, whatever it was. The physical test we did every year. Based on experience in Afghanistan, the army came back and said our soldiers are not basic soldiers. So we're talking clerks and things that not frontline guys. But
Right.
even those guys aren't fit enough. We're not happy. So the three elements then sat down and redesigned that yearly test. Everybody got a say. And the test is quite different. And the Navy, there's a couple of tests. This was one. This body drag, for lack of a better term.
Yep.
Was something the Navy was into because again, where they talked about earlier, getting somebody, one of your wingers or your buddies, out of a space that's got a problem in it. And now the test is I think it's 100 pounds, and you have to drag it the length of a gym. It's a dummy. And again, it's the same thing. What the instructors will show you, you're supposed to know how to do this. Get your arms all the way around it, get it in there, and you start dragging it backwards. And I don't even remember how, you have a time limit. I don't remember what it is. But, there's a bunch of different tests like that.
Yeah,
If you did the test, you'd recognize what they're simulating.
we've looked at that test actually on this channel once or twice, and the problem is that the videographers, whenever someone does a video of these things, there's either biases of the videographers or there's just what they know and don't know, and they show bits and pieces of that test, and the way that they show it looks like a really stupid test. Unless you know what they're doing and can
Yes.
extrapolate into what it actually means.
They need somebody with them to explain what they're seeing. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Last up push. Lads, move out the way. Well done, Fletcher.
You could see
There's
that
the
she had
problem
the
with-
determination.
Is that?
Oh. The problem with pulling an instructor is they won't move your feet to help you out.
Oh, she looks a little young for a petty officer, to be honest. Wow.
Remembering that the Royal Navy, and I'm assuming the rest of the UK Armed Forces, have fewer ranks than we do. So there's a leading seaman, a corporal, and then there's petty officer. There's nothing in between. There's no master of any sort.
Well, no, but I don't know about the Navy, but the Army has Lance Corporal, which is the same as Corporal, Master Corporal.
Okay. Right.
So-
No, their Navy doesn't have that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got to the end.
She probably
Like,
to us would be a master seaman, but yeah,
Okay.
or master
threw
sailor.
up a little.
It makes it hard when the ranks don't line up so well.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
That's it. They're just winding down now. Oh, what's this? There you go. Do we
There she go.
have that kind of a cap?
No,
No.
no. When the Navy, the Canadian Armed Forces was formed in the 1960s, somewhere along the way, a lot of those traditional uniforms went out of the way.
Okay. You guys use the forage cap, right?
We do in our number one dress, and then a ball cap for work dress, for daily dress. Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, that's nice.
Ball
Actually.
cap will have your ship's. The ball cap will have your ship's name on it and stuff. So
Okay, cool. So, yeah, that's a pretty small bit of the training. So we'll have to find a video sometime that's got.
it looks pretty typical, I would think.
Yeah. This is something that I found, and this is another thing that gets me in trouble with some of my followers, is that what I've really found is that a lot of these things, no matter what army that you're looking at, they look kind of typical. Like, some of these.
Why reinvent the wheel?
Yeah, exactly. But there are units out there that believe that they are so much above the rest, right? And while I believe that is true, right, and I have respect for all of them, for the most part, the vast majority of soldiers, sailors, airmen, they go through very, very similar things.
Yeah, if you're comparing like with like, so Canadian Army would be a classic example. And you go to the American Army or the Royal, not the UK Army, not the Royal Army, obviously. You're
Royal
going to
Navy.
find a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
Ditto with the Royal Navy. Those things.
Yep.
If you're going to compare something like the U.S. Marines, Well, then you've got to go to the Royal Marines to find a comparison. You don't go to the Canadian Army unless it's specific units because of the way I know our Army
Yeah.
is a little different.
Yeah, I'm talking unit for unit. I mean, if you're talking force on force, I mean, Canada's still playing in the kiddie pool, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Because,
Individually, we always pride ourselves, and I think I heard you talk about this before, we've always prided ourselves that, there's only one of us for every 10 of you, but we're worth that.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And I firmly believe that. And I don't take anything away from the guys that believe that their unit is the best, because you always have to believe that your own unit is the best.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for the recruits taking on the toughest physical challenge in the Royal Navy Sailor School training. Wow, that's a mouthful. Say that 3 times fast. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like the video, go ahead.
I just have a hard time believing that's the toughest physical challenge. I want to see them go to their damage control school and fight a fire in a flood in B gear. That's tough.
So I got 2 things to say. First, Chief, if you see a video out there that you want to comment on, I think I said this in the other video, let me know and we'll get it up. And for everybody watching, if there's a Navy video that you want to see the Chief talk about, let us know in the comments down below, and we'll try to get another one done for you guys. And as always, leave a like and subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel because it really helps the channel, and I'll let you know whenever we put out new things and when the Chief's coming back. So, thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one.